The greatest American muscle cars ever built. These are the 10 ultimate machines that defined raw power, changed automotive history, and continue to dominate both auction blocks at Barrett-Jackson and drag strips today. From the original 1964 Pontiac GTO that started it all to the insane 1,025 horsepower Dodge Demon 170 that just ended an era. This is the definitive ranking of America's greatest performance machines from the big three automakers. The muscle car story begins with rebellion at General Motors. In 1964, a group of passionate engineers in the Pontiac division, led by John DeLorean, yes, that DeLorean, decided to break the rules. General Motors had a strict policy that mid-size cars could not have engines larger than 330 cubic inches. So what did DeLorean's team do, along with marketing genius Jim Wangers? They found a loophole. They stuffed a massive 389 cubic inch V8 into a Pontiac Tempest and offered it as an option package. The result was the first GTO, and automotive journalist Brock Yates coined a term in Car and Driver magazine that would define an entire era: muscle car. Starting our countdown at number 10 is the 1970 Oldsmobile 442. While it might not get the same attention as its Chevrolet and Plymouth rivals, the Oldsmobile 442 was a legitimate powerhouse from the General Motors family. For 1970, Oldsmobile equipped it with a massive 455 cubic inch V8 that cranked out 365 horsepower and an impressive 500 pound-feet of torque. Paired with an available Hurst 4-speed manual transmission, this Olds could deliver serious performance while maintaining that distinctive General Motors refinement. The 442 represented Oldsmobile's attempt to capture younger buyers, and it succeeded in creating one of the more sophisticated muscle cars of the golden era. At number 9, we have the 2024 Cadillac CT5V Blackwing, proving that luxury sedans can absolutely be muscle cars. If you ever questioned whether a four-door could earn that title, the Blackwing settles the debate with authority. Under its elegant hood lurks a supercharged 6.2-liter V8, producing 668 horsepower, all sent to the rear wheels through either an automatic transmission or, here's the kicker, a manual transmission. Yes, you can still get a stick shift in this Cadillac. Swaddled in Napa leather with every luxury amenity imaginable, the CT5V Blackwing represents what happens when Detroit decides to build a muscle car for adults who have made it in life. Number 8 brings us to the Buick Grand National from 1986 to 1987, the muscle car that nobody saw coming from General Motors. During the dark ages of American performance, when most muscle cars had been neutered by emissions regulations and by insurance company fears, Buick of all brands decided to build something special. The Grand National used a turbocharged 3.8-liter V6, not even a V8, that delivered 235 horsepower in 1986 and 245 horsepower in 1987. Those numbers might seem modest today, but this Buick was the fastest American production car of its time. Its sinister all-black appearance earned it the nickname Darth Vader's car, and for good reason. The limited production GNX version, tuned by McLaren, cranked out 300 horsepower and proved that the muscle car spirit could survive even the worst of times. At number 7, we celebrate the 2024 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1, the final chapter in Camaro's story for now. With 650 horsepower from its supercharged 6.2-liter V8, the ZL1 represents everything General Motors learned about building muscle cars over 6 decades. It will sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 3.4 seconds and reach a top speed of 198 miles per hour. But the ZL1 is more than just straight line speed. It is a sophisticated machine that can handle a road course as well as it dominates a drag strip. When the final 6th-generation Camaro rolled off the Lansing assembly line in January 2024, It marked the end of an era. As Chevrolet Vice President Scott Bell said, "This is not the end of Camaro's story, but for now, the ZL1 serves as a spectacular farewell." Number 6 takes us back to where it all began, with the 1964 Pontiac GTO. This is the car that launched the muscle car revolution, though ironically the name GTO was borrowed from Ferrari's Gran Turismo Omologato. The audacity was pure Detroit, taking an Italian racing designation and slapping it on an American street machine. Marketing executive Jim Wangers worked alongside DeLorean to position this revolutionary concept to young buyers. The original GTO packed a 389 cubic inch V8 engine, rated at 348 horsepower, and while that might seem modest by today's standards, it was revolutionary for 1964. Pontiac expected to sell maybe 5,000 units. They sold 32,450. The success of the GTO forced every other American manufacturer to respond, spawning an entire generation of muscle cars. It was not the first fast American car, but it was the first to package big engine performance as a complete, integrated experience marketed directly to young buyers. At number 5, we have the 1969 Dodge Charger RT, a car that became a Hollywood icon before it became a collector's dream. This Mopar legend earned its stripes with the 440 Magnum and the legendary 426 Hemi engines, but it achieved immortality in the 1968 film Bullitt, where Steve McQueen's nemesis drove a black Charger through the streets of San Francisco in cinema's greatest chase scene. More recently, the Fast and the Furious franchise reintroduced the world to the Charger's menacing presence. The 1969 model represented the peak of Charger design, with its distinctive flying buttress rear window and aggressive stance. With the 426 Hemi option, it was also one of the most potent muscle cars ever built, though Dodge built relatively few Hemi Chargers compared to the more common models powered by the 440. Today, these Mopar machines command premium prices at Mecum and RM Sotheby's auctions. Number 4 brings us to the 1967 to 1968 Ford Shelby GT500, the car that proved Carroll Shelby could work magic with Ford's pony car platform. Shelby, the only person to win the 24 Hours of Le Mans as a driver, manufacturer, and team manager, transformed the Mustang into something genuinely special. The original 1967 GT500 came with a 428 Police Interceptor V8, but the real legend was the 1968 GT500R, King of the Road. With its 428 Cobra jet engine, the KR became the most powerful factory Mustang of the classic era. Only 2,048 GT500s were built in 1967, making them incredibly rare and valuable today at Barrett-Jackson auctions. The Shelby name on a Mustang means something special, representing the marriage of American muscle and racing pedigree. At number 3, the 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS 400 before LS6 is arguably the most potent muscle car of the golden era from General Motors. While other manufacturers were advertising conservative horsepower figures to appease insurance companies, Chevrolet claimed the LS6's 454 cubic inch V8 made 450 horsepower, and testing suggests it was probably closer to 500. The LS6 Chevelle could cover the quarter mile in 13.1 seconds at 108 miles per hour, making it one of the quickest muscle cars ever built. The LS6 designation meant special everything: a unique carburetor, an aggressive camshaft, and a free-flowing exhaust system that unleashed the 400 horsepower's full potential. Today, finding an authentic LS6 Chevelle is like discovering automotive gold, especially since Chevrolet built only 4,475 of them during the single year it was offered. Number 2 takes us to the 2023 Dodge Challenger SRT Demon 170, the most powerful muscle car ever built. and the final gasp of the gas-powered Challenger era. This ultimate Mopar machine delivers 1,025 horsepower and 945 pound-feet of torque when running on E85 ethanol, making it a physics-defying machine that can launch from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 1.66 seconds, making it the quickest production car ever in that metric. It will run the quarter mile in 8.91 seconds at 150.7 miles per hour, numbers so extreme that the NHRA banned it from competition without a roll cage and parachute. The Demon 170 represents everything excessive and wonderful about American muscle cars taken to their absolute extreme. With the Challenger's discontinuation after 2023, the Demon 170 serves as both a celebration and a farewell to an era of unlimited horsepower. And at number 1, the crown jewel of American muscle cars, the 1970 Plymouth Hemi Cuda. This is the Holy Grail, the ultimate expression of Mopar muscle car insanity, and the reason rare Chrysler products now rule collector auctions. The Cuda combined Plymouth's most aggressive styling with Chrysler's most powerful engine, the legendary 426 Hemi 5.8. Rated at 425 horsepower, though likely making significantly more, the Hemi Cuda was one of the fastest cars you could buy in 1970, capable of quarter-mile times in the low 13-second range. But rarity makes it legendary. Only 652 Hemi Cudas were built that year, and a mere 14 were convertibles. That explains why a 1971 Hemi Cuda convertible sold for $3.5 million at a Barrett-Jackson auction in 2014, and why a 1970 model recently brought $2.53 million at Mecum. The Hemi Cuda represents everything the muscle car era was about: outrageous power, aggressive styling, and the kind of engineering excess that could only happen in America during those golden years. The muscle car era officially peaked in 1970, when the big three automakers were still in an arms race for ultimate power. After 1973, everything changed. The oil crisis, insurance company pressure, and government emissions regulations killed the original muscle car movement almost overnight. The spirit survived in cars like the Buick Grand National and eventually roared back to life with modern interpretations, but nothing quite matched the raw, uncompromising nature of those classic machines. Today we are witnessing another transition in the muscle car landscape. With the Dodge Challenger and Chevrolet Camaro both discontinued, the Ford Mustang stands alone as the last traditional American muscle car. The 2025 Mustang GT, with its 486 horsepower Coyote V8 and available manual transmission, carries the torch for those who believe muscle cars should have naturally aspirated V8 engines and 3 pedals. The Dark Horse version bumps power to 500, while the track-focused GTD delivers an insane 815 horsepower from its supercharged 5.2-liter heart. But the definition of muscle car continues to evolve in the electric age. Electric vehicles like the Tesla Model S Plaid offer 1,020 horsepower and can accelerate faster than any gas-powered muscle car ever built. Stellantis is transitioning Dodge to electric power with the new Charger Daytona, which makes 630 horsepower in Scat Pack form and represents the future of electric muscle cars. Meanwhile, the upcoming gas-powered Charger 6-pack uses a twin-turbo inline-6 instead of a V8, producing up to 550 horsepower and proving that muscle cars can adapt while maintaining their performance DNA. What defines a muscle car has always been debated. Purists insist on the original formula: a big block V8 in an intermediate-sized coupe from one of the big three. But the spirit of the muscle car, maximum performance, aggressive styling, and that distinctly American approach to speed, lives on in various forms. Whether it is the traditional V8 rumble of a Mustang GT, the supercharged fury of a Demon 170, or the instant torque of an electric muscle car like the Charger Daytona, The muscle car represents something uniquely American, the belief that too much power is almost enough. These 10 machines represent the absolute pinnacle of American automotive performance across 6 decades. From the pioneering GTO that started it all to the Demon 170 that ended an era with unprecedented fury, each one tells part of the muscle car story. They are more than just transportation. They are rolling sculptures of American excess, engineering ambition from the big 3 automakers, and the eternal quest for speed. In a world increasingly focused on efficiency and emissions, muscle cars remind us that sometimes raw power and the rumble of a big engine matter more than practicality. That is their gift to automotive history, and that is why they will forever hold a special place in the hearts of anyone who understands that driving can be about passion, not just transportation.